I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Micheal White. I'm a hairstylist in Hollywood and on film and television. Some of my credits in film are from Interview with the Vampire to Jerry Maguire to finishing The Family Stone, and also recently Milk with Sean Penn and All Good Things. I come from a background of being with Vidal Sassoon and also with Sebastian International, which was my foundation. And I have been asked today by HMA to come in and do a men's haircut on men's grooming. And this is my model, David. And David himself is an actor. And before I start, I always believe that you have to start with a completely wet head. It's very, very important to be able to pull the hair off of the head to see exactly what you're dealing with. You want to be able to look at the bone structure, the eyes, and see what shape you're working with, and also that will be able to go into what length of hair you're going to be cutting. David's hair already is short. It's medium length. Like I explained, he is an actor, so he has his wishes of what his boundaries are for his career. Sometimes when you're grooming actors or models or anybody that is in the industry, they will have certain perimeters that you can go to. So you have to be able to feel that out and know exactly where your lines are drawn so that you don't go too short or you're not going into something that's not going to work for them in their profession. If you're cutting for someone for their own everyday type of style, meaning just for themselves and not for something that they're doing, you want to be able to get to know them and talk to them and feel what works for them best in the morning when they get up. Or do they work with their hair? Do they use a lot of product? Are they just wash and wear? What do they like to do? So once you break that down and you have a good communication with your client or your actor, you go ahead and you start to begin by really getting in there and moving the hair around and feeling the texture, seeing what you have to work with, seeing what the shape is of the ear, looking where you have from the eyebrow to the cheekbone, their profile, coming from behind them and looking to make sure that you see where the calyx are and where the root direction goes. It's very important that when you're working with grooming that you're not going to go ahead and cut something that you're going to want to have to come back, but with their root direction shooting so straight forward that you don't have a line in there that's not going to work. The trick of really being able to give the right haircut for the right shape is to be able to see where the hair goes, what the texture is. It's either going to be straight, wavy, or curly. For David, he has a straight texture, a little bit of color on his ends, so it adds a little bit of volume. He has a little bit of length in the back and a little bit of length on his bangs. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave him, we're going to try to give him somewhat of a retro 60s, or giving him something that has a little bit of a messiness, choppiness to it, but can be alternated into different styles, whether he wants to come and wear a side part and be a little bit more conservative with it, and let's say comb it back, and if he was, let's say, using a gel or something like that in his hair, or if we were going to go ahead and he was going to wear it more messy and have it look a little bit shattered and thatchy and broken up. So as we start, the two tools that I use are my shears and my razor shears. I will be using first my regular shears to be able to cut the line in. And on my men's grooming, I like to be able to start around their temples to know exactly where the line's coming from and have control over it and know that I'll be balanced on both sides. So I go ahead and I take my first parting, and I see that, you know, he has a little bit of a beard, which he afterwards will see that he'll have a little bit of grooming for makeup, and so that I have to think about where that look's going to be for that. But I'm going to try to come in and I'm going to try to keep the line with his eyes so that you can open up in that area and be able to show a little bit of attention to his best features.